Hi everyone, I hope you're well. So today we're going to name a cell. Now instead of naming cells by B3, A4, and you'll even see if we use certain formulas, if you want to use more than one cell, we can say this cell is equal to the sum of all of those cells. So instead of having that, we can actually name specific cells. Okay, so that was a cell range that I just highlighted like that. But if you know that there's going to be an interest rate, and that is always going to be the number that's inside of this cell over here. Now, instead of having to use that formula multiple times, saying D2, you can actually rename this cell as interest. Now, if I say this is equal to interest, you can see it gives me the option to say whatever value is inside here, it will be there. So instead of saying, I think you're getting what I'm saying. um, so instead of saying D2, you can just say interest rate. And the main reason why I think it's a really good idea to have named cells is it kind of makes it definitely makes it an absolute value. So now, if you would replicate this, if you say interest plus 2, and you would replicate this, then if we say, let's rather say not plus 2, let's say plus the value of this one. Okay, so if I replicate that, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I can complete this full series. So you can see now that with all of these formulas, if you keep your eye there, you'll see that interest stays there. So it makes it an absolute value. So it's an easier way of making something an absolute value than saying D2 and then putting a dollar sign in front of it. So it's not that hard to put the dollar sign in front of it because we still have the absolute reference there, but it's just easier. Even for someone who doesn't know what all of these things mean, it's just easier to put that named cell in there. So that's the thing that we're going to do today. So I'm just going to put here format. Okay, and take this away. Let's see what it is we have to do. So we're going to name a cell, and then we're going to use named cells in a formula. So load the Excel and create a new document and input the following data exactly as it appears here. So I would like you to put that in there. So this is also kind of like testing how you can follow instructions to recreate this. Just a quick review. If you have to put in a money currency, my suggestion would be to first put in the numbers, and then you just format that cell. So you can say format cell, and you just go to currency. You can decide what currency it is that you want to use, and you can see that they don't have decimal places. So just take the decimal places away. You can do it over here. This is much easier doing it over here. And then here, just put in percentage. We can see that this percentage is a bit high. So you can just put in 5. And then, yeah, so just a quick recap on that. So just recreate that whole thing there. So I am just going to use the values just to help you with what these things mean. And then amount of interest received. Then let's say click on cell B4. So this is going to be, okay, I just have to move this there because we have A and B. So B4 is our interest rate, and we are just going to give it a name. So you can go to formulas, you can say define name, and we can call this interest rate. And you will see if I name it like this, it's going to give me a problem. Okay, we're not allowed to have any spaces. If you want there to be a space, just say shift underscore, and now it should be fine. So it must be one word, so I can even have it like this. Each new word you can just make a capital letter, or you can put in the underscore to make it easier to read. And just say okay. So now this is called interest rate. You could also rename it over here. You can also call this interest over there. So if I say equals interest, oh, that's because I already have an interest named over here, so that's why that's not going to work. But you can rename your things over here. If I call this money invest, that should also work. So now I have money invest over here. And then using formulas, you can see that whatever cell you renamed, they will pop up over here. So if you want to say these two multiplied with each other, so you can just say money invest times interest. Oh, not interest. We want to make that interest rate. Okay. And then you multiply those two. And this is also supposed to be a percentage. So if I make this percentage, no decimal places, say yes, say 5, then you can see that since it's a percentage, it's going to work this out correctly. And notice that the name has been suggested. Oh yeah, so if you actually have the cell name over here, let's say fat bicycle, and you give it the value of 6 whatever. If you want to rename this, if you go to define name, you'll see it actually already makes whatever right next to that. So using relative referencing, it can actually see what that cell's name is. So you can call this fat bicycle and does it automatically. So it also saves time. So if you manually go type in it in over here, it won't give you any suggestion. So formulas and define name, and that will help you with that. And yes, no blank spaces, and use what you've learned from step 3 to give cell B3 the name amount of money invested. Okay, so amount of money invested, it should be there automatically when you type in amount of money invested and you click on there and you say define name, it should automatically be in there. But if it's not, maybe it's too long, then you can just manually type that in. Then we need to use formulas, so to find the amount of interest, so we just did that. Okay, so if you want to use the formula, you just start with equal, and you don't actually have to use in formulas, you don't have to use this, it just shows you which cells already have names, but you can just manually type in there and type there, and you can just say enter. So they show you how to use this, so also go do that. I just wanted to show you that you can also do it like this. And then for the final one, I want you to take a screenshot, go to Microsoft Word, blank document, paste that in there. We don't want all of the unnecessary white space over here, so just show me the important parts. Put it in there, okay, make it nice and big. And then I would like you to also go to formulas and say show formulas, and then just make sure everything fits in. Take a screenshot and also crop this just so that I can see your formulas. And the last thing that I want you to take a screenshot of is if you go to using formula, I would just like to see what type of names you gave your cells. So just say print screen, and then just show me a picture of that part over there. So when you define the name, just so that I can see what names you gave your cells. So you don't need you don't need the fat bicycle or the interest. You will only have interest rate, and then the other one, money invested, amount of money invested. So you will have those in there. And then this Word document, just say file, print to PDF, and you can just rename this as, let's go to the assignment, you can rename this as 20.5 name and surname. So I hope that helps with that. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.